So hello everyone and welcome to the sets and Boolean structure. So in this lecture we are going to learn about the two more other object types, and one is the data structure set and the one is the data structure sets and Boolean object type, which is basically just a true and false display in Python. So this is the Jupyter notebook. So let's just go ahead and start coding and go through it. So sets can be thought of as an unordered collection of a unique element, and that's the important part. So the fact that those elements inside of that sets are unique too. So the inside of the sets are unique, so that you can construct the set using this sets function notation. So it's going to look something like this. So I'm going to make a set and I'm going to call and I'm going to label it with the variable x. So here x is a get set right now and it's an empty set. So how do I add element to this set? So let's add element. So I use the add method, which is going to be a x or whatever variable is set of called your set dot add for add, and you can add whatever object you want to in it. So I'm going to say x dot add 1, and if I check now what my x is, it's going to look and add that one into that set. So now x so something interesting here, notice that the notation is curly brackets. So this actually does not indicate that it's a dictionary, although you can draw analogies as a set, almost like being a directory, but with only the keys, because remember, in a directory you cannot have multiple keys being the exact same thing. So you don't have unique keys, and you can kind of think those as a set as just a dictionary, but keys are unique. So let's go ahead and add a different element to the set. As you can say, I added which is called x, and add number 2 in it. So as you can see, I have 1 and 2 in my set. So what happens if I try to add the same element that's already in here? Okay. Like it would if it was like a list or something, and that's because the set's only concerned with a unique element. So you can actually use that set function to cache something like a list with a multiple repeat element to get the unique element, and I'll show you an example what I mean by that. So I'm going to say L is equal to a list, and this is the list. I'm going to have a couple of 1 and couple of 2s and couple of 3s and like a 4. So notice how I have repeated out the items or elements that list that occur more than once. So if I take that list and cast it, remember we kind of casting as a term back for using float, and casting number explodes. Okay, I did mistake. Let me repeat it. Okay. So if I take that list and cast it, remember we use casting as a term back using float, and casting number explodes. So if I use the sets of L, notice that the sets going to grab all those unique values. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 are the unique values in this list, and that's basically just the sets. So remember, sets are the only concerned with the unique element, and you can create them by calling this empty set function, when you can add to them with the dot add method. So so sets are going to be a super useful tool when we come back to the later of this lecture, and it is a really unique tool because of this feature that they are the only concern if with the unique elements. So let's go ahead and move along with the Booleans. So Python comes of Booleans, which are basically predefined true and false displays, almost like integer 1 and 0. So it also has a placeholder object called none. Okay. So let's go ahead and walk through a couple of examples of this. So I'm gonna say a is equal to true run that cell, and now if I show it and it shows out true, so we can also use comparison operator and operators to create the booleans. So let me try this. So we haven't got a specific comparison operator, so we'll go over them. This intersection of this lecture is about them, so I'm gonna show you a quick example. So I can ask, is 1 greater than 2, and the output will be a boolean which is false, since 1 is not greater than 2, and we will go over all these different symbols and what they mean later on this. So let's go ahead and switch, then let's say 11 is greater than 2. So this is true. So we can also use none as a placeholder for an object that we don't want to resign yet. And what I mean is by none is actual word, none of capital M there, and now B is going to be a placeholder, and so B is going to be a placeholder, and you notice nothing popped out. So when I said that cell to run, since it's literally none, and that I can reassign it to maybe a string, and now this equal to a, where string of a okay. So that is just a super basic understanding of sets and booleans. So we will touch upon them later throughout this topic. So just a quick review. So if we hop up back to the over here on Jupyter Notebook, sets are an unordered collection of unique elements. So you construct them using set function, and you can add to them with the add method, and remember they have currently brackets, and that doesn't mean they are a dictionary. And you can draw analogies as a set being a dictionary with only keys. Remember, you can also use set to cast another data structure, so it's just a list to only get to the unique value out of it. Then we went over boolean, which are basically just a true and false, and we went over none use as a placeholder. So we'll learn way more and see booleans a lot more when it comes to the comparison bit operation later on this topic, and we'll also go over them throughout this. So they are going to be super useful to have a logic within our code. So that's about it. I'll talk to you about the next lecture about this.